Hey, what's up? Haha, we're back. Good morning. This morning we're talking morning mantras. Mantras to get yourself moving. Mantras to reach the biggest, most audacious goals. And we got a funny guy, our Scott Edwards, joining us, and Adam House coming up. Oh, AJ Zeglin's here too. Morning to the Lab with Keith and Friends coming up now. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where excuse.
When something negative comes up.
Building muscle and pool, blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, John.
If your lady's saying that, you're just
Be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that it?
There we go. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Business Athlete Nation. Good morning, LinkedIn Nation. Good morning, YouTube. You got Keith Bilous here. Morning to the Lab with Keith and Friends. You got Johnny over there. You got Marty over there. You got producer Jimmy over there. Oh, we got Walter sitting over there as well. What's shaking, Nation? Today, coming up in the lab, we're talking morning mantras. Yeah, the mantra to get yourself out of bed, the mantra to help you achieve those big goals, the mantra to wrap up the year. Apparently, mantras help us hit those next stages in life. We're going to talk about them today coming up. A funny guy, our Scott Edwards, joining us for Center Stage. He joined me live in the lab a few months ago. Happy to have our Scott coming up here in a few moments. Adam House jumping up in the bottom of the hour for the deep dive. And of course, AJ Zeglin's coming in with Mind Fuel, some mental performance techniques to help us through the day. I'm going to continue sharing with you guys some things I've learned in my 200 live shows. We got Marty here. We got Johnny here, as well as a bunch of other things on the menu. Let's get after it, boys. Let's get after it, boys. Let's bring everybody up. Let's bring everybody in. We got Johnny there in the black on black. He's fucking average. And we got, of course, Marty on less brunches, more crunches, black shirt, red headset. I'm, of course, in the black on black with the red icon on my skull. What's going on, boys? Any drones flying over your neighborhood this morning, Marty?
no drones. There's a whole fleet of people out there that think those things are not drones.
Yeah, so
Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear now, Marty. Marty, Johnny's tuned into the drone conversation here. He's got a philosophy. What's the philosophy there, Johnny?
Well, it's not my philosophy. Fuck, it's just there's a whole fleet of people out there who think they're not drones.
I know. Yes, they're a bunch of aliens across the east coast of America checking on C. Marty Fitz. He was actually working at Gold's Gym where he's just fucking around.
Yeah, they're gonna. What are they gonna do? Take me to alien jail? Keith?
How are you today, Mr. Martin? How are you, brother? What's shaking out there in the eastern coast of Maryland today?
Nothing, man. Just some rain.
Just
Got my clients right today, and that's about it, man.
You got rain today, yeah?
A little bit, just a little bit. Yeah.
Oh man,
You know, Johnny don't pay attention to that. So
that's right.
you know, I can't say the weather in front of Johnny. He gonna call me a loser again.
No, listen, hold on. I just to get this straight, I got a little schooling of vocabulary for both of you. All right. I don't use the word loser, and I would definitely not put that upon someone else. That's not my vocabulary for somebody. I might say, hey, don't get distracted with the rain. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And I don't use the word hate, which Keith loves that word.
Yeah, you don't use the word hate. No, you don't use it.
No, I don't use hate.
Yeah.
What Keith says hate. Yeah, and I think that using words like this are just it kind of deteriorates that thing that wants to shine within us. You know what I mean?
Well, let me clarify. I don't mind the rain. When I said the rain because people use it as an excuse to miss the gym sessions.
Yes.
That's why I threw it in there. Yeah, that's why I threw that in there. So I had a couple people not show up because of the rain, quote unquote.
So
and keep in mind, like when I said I don't pay attention to that, it's because you were asking me what the weather was like.
Yeah.
You want to make notice of the weather. That's your choice. I'm just talking about me.
Hey, good morning, the cum spider. Oh, fuck, Marty. I woke up this morning. I was hoping the cum spider was going to join the show today. Like I was
what?
The cum spider. Yeah, you know the spider
Jesus
with cum.
Christ. What the fuck did I miss, Marty?
If you're not on YouTube, there's someone in the comments named Cum Spider. That's what Keith is talking about. I don't. Keith is not talking about a real thing. That's what it is. No context, Keith.
Does he spell it? Does he spell it in a way that makes you think the wrong? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he spells it like that.
But Marty, Johnny, you're right. So I do use the word hate, but I will admit, Anderson, since we've been hanging out, I've been more selective with my use of it. But I do find that there's things that I do hate, and I'm not afraid to say that. So, for example, like as I'm aging, brother, I fucking hate the cold, and I know I have a choice. I can go move, I can travel. I get all that. But there's just certain things I actually fucking hate. Like I'm tired of -30. I hate the snow.
I so understand, but I'm just talking about how you choose to describe it, because your words are programs, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
I really dislike that cold. That cold is the challenge for me. That cold is hard for me to get with. That cold is definitely an uphill battle. But you start slinging the word hate. Yeah, that attaches to a different, center in your brain.
That's hard not to argue with you, brother. Marty?
Or just say fuck the cold. Or
just say fuck the cold. But I'm going to tell you, this show, I'm telling you guys, every day I'm learning something.
God damn it.
Hanging out with Alana Tar yesterday, Johnny, after you left, and Alana was inviting me to use the word agile instead of control, right? Because she's like, when we think about controlling our emotions, we put that into a box and we often remove agility from that. And she's got a good point, right? Which is, wait a minute, sometimes we are unable to actually observantly control, and maybe having some agility is important for us to observe. So I don't know. I love. And
I like the word. I kind of more in tone with the word leverage. Because when you have an emotion, you can turn it into something good, leverage it into something good. Sometimes it's a bit of a challenge to do it. But that's what it's all about. Yeah, I mean, you can leverage fear into power. You can leverage excitement into action. The list goes on.
It's so true.
So Keith, would you move from Canada?
Yes, I would, Marty. Absolutely, I would. Yeah. I don't know if I'd move permanently, but I certainly would. Like I certainly.
You just become a snowbird, brother. You just get another house, where it's warmer. I'm in California, for Christ's sake, and I have one of those.
I do have to tell you guys, I'm laughing here. Where, I'm obviously Canadian. And I'm laughing at President Trump calling out Trudeau on Governor Trudeau. If you think about it, like Canada's got as many people in as California, so all my Canadian friends are going to hate what I'm going to say next. But fuck it, we might as well just join the states. So we don't spend any money on military anyways. We're gonna use the military for our help anyways. So let's just bend over and have all the bad guys give it to the Canadians. Like fuck. Oh yeah, we don't have a military up here. Just come invade our country. So maybe we just become a state of America and we dip into the budget and I don't know. Just it's an interesting conversation to have. And then I can. So California,
Canada's big though, man.
Yeah, but Marty, it's the same as
geographically.
Geographically. Yeah. But California's got more humans in it with, I think a larger GDP than Canada.
California is a fucking massive place. Isn't it like the 5th largest economy on the planet or some crazy shit?
Yeah, exactly. Like Canada is essentially California, except California is actually bigger.
Except for there's not so many pissed off people in Canada versus California.
Yeah. Well, and even some of the politics aren't too dissimilar, right? We got a bunch of, liberal folks here.
Let's not go there.
No. Hey, I got my blue underwear on.
Where's Tina?
I got the blue and the red on. Tina's coming over here later.
Where's Tina, man? Don't do it.
Speaking of Tina, guys. Hey, Cum Spider, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I invite you to do so. Hey, guys, coming up. Apparently, there's a funny guy hanging out with us coming up. So I'm just telling you because I hung out with this guy a few months ago, and he's in the green room. But apparently, he's funny. He's a comedian. Yeah, but he's actually not the comedian. He has comedy stores. He told me that last time he hung out with me on Live and Live. He's like, Keith, I'm actually not the funny guy. I'm the guy who hosts funny guys. Although he's actually pretty funny. So we're gonna welcome.
You got to be a little funny if you host funny people.
Yeah, there's got to be some There's got to be some kinship there for sure.
I would think so.
Give yourself some credit, man.
Yeah, I know. So the good thing is that as our Scott knows, when he sits in the green room, we can just throw him under the bus time and time again. And he waits to come on the show, and he might drop a few jokes along the way as well. So
well, you know what though? Me and Johnny are funny. Keith isn't funny.
Yeah, well, that's the, I'm not funny at all. No, not at all.
Like we laugh at you, but we're not laughing with you.
Hey, if we have time, speaking of, if we have time, I have some stats here. Top places Americans fantasize about having sex. Just silence. Hey, speaking of, I brought up Tina here a few moments ago.
No, my brain was actually thinking to myself, God, I hope these places are not these like ridiculously, people should have fun with their sexuality is what I'm thinking. If there's a bunch of places that are kind of silly that should have already been handled on most Americans, they need to get busy is what I was thinking.
Oh man. So let me quickly, the number one place is I'll get into them a little bit later on the show here, but so I do want to say this though, guys. Since we're making some changes with Christina and with her schedule, I said to myself, and Self said, yes, Keith. I said, we could do having a female hang out with us in the show. So we're putting a call to action for any females or females to come hang out with us and co-host, and it brings some continued female energy to the show. And
I actually was going to call you and talk to you about a thought that I had about the show. So obviously I ran into trouble with my brother's boy, so that got put to the side, but let's catch up the next day or so. Yeah. I just want to share a couple thoughts with you on that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I connected with a world record mountain climber female who's intrigued about hanging out on the show as well. So we'll see. But Johnny, yes, we'll catch up, but we are looking for, as we look to expand this thing into 25, grabbing a female to hang out with us is certainly something we're looking to expand upon and put some calls out there for some females to kind of hang out and add some female energy to the show. I even said, hey, Lauren, why don't you come hang out with us? If she wasn't so committed with everything else going on in her life, she would be right across the room here on the microphone and dishing it to us as much as anybody. But there you get after it. Hey, before we bring our Scott in the lab here, Johnny, I know you love your salt. I do too, man.
I love the proper salt. Yes.
Do you think you can have too much salt?
Oh, the wrong salt? Are you kidding me? Shit, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm having it. My brain is not giving me the information I'm looking for, but basically salt is an essential mineral.
Yes.
There's all sorts of really good shit that come with it until they strip it down and take all the good shit away and just give you that molecule that's unhealthy. It tastes really, really a pungent salt flavor.
Yeah.
But it's not good for you.
Some of the 4 signs that you're eating too much salt, gentlemen: puffy face, bloating, water retention, intense thirst, increased urge to urinate, as well as rapid weight gain. I like the 4th one because a lot of people get all fussed up when they get on the scale after crushing some food, and they're not really thinking about all the salt inside of it. They're like, oh my God, I put on 20 pounds. No.
Well, the problem is they don't know they're having salt because they cover the salt with sugar. They put them together. So you've got this really there's a name for the food business. It's like this euphoric place, just enough sugar, just enough salt to where the fucking tongue just explodes, but you can't taste either one.
Yeah, it's so true, right? It's so true. It's and so I found an interesting article here because I think a lot of us, especially as we're going to enter the holiday season now, are going to crush a lot of food, guys. It's not always going to be, you're not getting fat. No, you might just be throwing a lot of sodium into your body.
Well, check this out. So it's just like a perfect example. So Celtic salt, it's really, really high in magnesium, right? The magnesium is stripped from just shitty salt that you're gonna get, like the cheap salt. So I was actually going through, when I was going through my struggle, I was having trouble with, just my normal shit was a challenge, getting my water and getting my food in. And of course, I'd done a nasty workout the day before. I was cramping like a motherfucker, like crazy, like right in my groin, which is the worst one too.
Yeah, really.
So literally it was just how a good salt is this powerful. I took Celtic salt, a pretty good little, I don't know what you call it, maybe a half a teaspoon. I wasn't really measuring it, put it under my tongue. right? That magnesium is going to get in your system real quick. I drank a glass of water and my cramps were fucking disappearing before I got the water all the way down.
No kidding.
Wow.
But that's because of the magnesium in the salt, not really the salt. Yeah. I mean, the salt adds to the equation, of course. But when you take a shitty salt, like the salt you're going to get on the table at a diner, that is just purely fucking flavor and not accompanied by all the minerals that makes it essential.
Yeah. You know what I like to do, Johnny? Instead of salt, sometimes throw some Parmesan cheese onto something. And I know it's cheesy, but Parmesan it's salty, right? So a little bit of Parmesan cheese adds some flavor and adds a little bit of texture. And I enjoy that sometimes as much as I enjoy salt.
You just got to make sure that it's a good Parmesan cheese.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
it's all fucking ground up coming out of a big, that shit's got to be like in small chunks.
Yeah, I agree. Marty?
Every time you bring up something, John is like, you got to make sure it's a good kind.
It's because it's never just one answer. There's 2 or 3 steps beneath what you think that make it actually good.
There's certainly truth to that though, Marty, because we are also conditioned to the lowest common denominator. Like we are. Right. So it's like we get salt, but yet there's a few other kind of versions of salt. Right. So it's just as we are as humans. Right. So
I was just going to say real quick, last week when you brought up the pork chop, John was like, got to make sure you go to the good pork butcher.
That's it. That's it.
There's always,
I mean, salt is it's a crazy one because it's so misunderstood.
Yes.
And like when you use a Celtic salt, you'd be surprised how much you have to put on to taste the salt because there's so much other good shit in that actual salt, in the granulars.
It's so misunderstood, Johnny, yet so used everywhere. Salt is in everything, right?
Yeah, and the cheap shit's in everything.
The cheap shit and everything. All right, let's do it. Accountability check-in, Jimmy. Let's get Johnny off for his break. Marty off for his break. Get ready, R. Scott. You're coming up in 60 seconds or so, brother. Yes, you are. After we do this, man. Woo-hoo. You know what's worse than burnout? Starting a daily talk show. Yeah, true fucking story. Hey, if anybody told me how crazy this commitment was going to be to creating a daily morning talk show every single day where time doesn't stop. No, because tomorrow 8 o'clock Eastern time is going to come regardless if I want it or not. Yeah, true story. So, you know what's worse than burnout? Fuck. Starting a daily talk show. Yeah, that's exactly it. No, it's regret. Yeah, the regret. The regret of wondering. The regret of wondering if I didn't do the daily talk show. The regret of wondering, what if I had pushed a little harder, shown up a little braver, refused to settle? Because here's the truth about high performers like Andersen, Marty, or me. Yeah, true story. We're not chasing easy. Oh, baby, no. This has been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Yep. Hang on that for a moment. Because what I'm doing, we're chasing what's possible. It's not just the long nights or the early mornings or the 24-hour days. No, it's the moments where you have to choose. You got to choose comfort or growth, good enough or better, a quiet life or a life that leaves a mark. Because mediocrity, it's not harmless. No way, baby. It's the thing that keeps you up at night whispering, what if? So I get up every day. I come down here to the lab and I show up. I do the work. Not because this is glamorous or comfortable. Oh, fuck every day. It's actually not. But I love it. And I don't want to live a life of regret. Because I'd rather be exhausted from the effort of trying and showing up and battling and climbing up the mountain and unlocking every opportunity inside of me and around me, instead of asking myself what could have been. Because at the end of the day, there's no better feeling than knowing that I showed up. I gave it everything that I have. And baby, I'm not done yet. We're just getting started. We are just getting started here at Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. There's the accountability check-in. Woo, baby. That one's from the gut today. Yep. All right, let's bring in our friend. I don't know. Let's bring in Johnny and Marty. Let's bring in R. Scott Edwards. What's shaking, Mr. R. Scott Edwards? How are you, brother? Good to have you here today. Let's do this. Yes, we are going to give him the applause. Let's get your audio on the vertical here, too. We got to the vertical art.
Yes.
Yes, we do. All right. Yes. Johnny meet Scott. Scott meet Johnny.
Scott, what's up, brother?
Johnny is a crazy guy, I got to tell you, because he says he's in California. I'm in California. It's really freaking early here. And not only is John up and talking to Keith every morning, which makes no freaking sense.
Yeah.
He's got a big ass cigar in his mouth.
Yeah.
That's getting up the hard way.
Well, brother, I always say that my superpower is I'm willing to do what other people won't.
Well, I think smoking a cigar at 5 a.m. is right up there. Hey, by the way, Keith, I was listening to the show, and I've just submitted you in this show, Mornings in the Lab, to the Food Network.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, I've been listening, and, the other day, you were talking about healthy foods in the holidays.
Yeah.
And I've been taking notes, and now I know more shit about salt than I ever needed to know. So
there you have it.
You guys are sharing
That's what we do here.
important shit.
Yeah, well, so we talk about salt. We talk about so I know that R. Scott tends to tune in from time to time. I see his comments and I see his stuff. R. Scott, have you been checking in with our life expectancy work discussions that we have here in the lab?
No.
Oh, so allow me to share with you. So we have learned, R. Scott, in the last number of months that as long as we're taking care of our female partners, they will live longer. So as a mantra, and we're talking morning mantras here today in the lab, all about starting our day and making sure that we, from time to time, if not occasionally, quite regularly, perform our life expectancy work duties with our partner, R. Scott.
I think that's very important. Marty's at the top of your list.
It's up there, top 3 for sure. Yeah.
Right behind smoking cigars with John at 5 in the morning.
Well, see, I've been up since a little before 3, so it's not early morning for me.
Okay.
And that early morning cigar's got to be accompanied by a cup of coffee or it doesn't work.
That's it.
There you go.
These are my 2 things. This is like the 2 things I dig.
But a true cigar smoker would have a little bit of bourbon there, man. A little bourbon.
I don't drink. That's the problem. So coffee's as close as going to get.
That's it. So, R. Scott, we ask everybody this morning question, especially those that are in part of this morning center stage segment at what is it, 3:00 in the morning in your world over there, R. Scott. Here's the morning show question we like to ask everybody sitting in the center stage segment. What is your morning routine, R. Scott Edwards?
My morning routine. Well, first off, I've been in the nightclub business most of my life. So morning for me is the crack of noon.
Yes.
So this is like going to time, not getting up time. And I think that it's just important to get up and once you're up, make your day worthwhile, right?
Yes.
Yeah. 100%. Brother, I was for a good chunk of my athletics, I was actually a pro wrestler. So a lot of times when I was working main events, I wouldn't even get on till 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. So obviously my morning was based upon getting up and kicking ass, not really the time. It was early for me based upon not going to bed till 2 in the morning. But it was all comes down to, are you being productive at that first thing in the morning?
Right. And just like life, you want to have a plan.
Yes.
You're thinking about what am I going to get accomplished today? Set some goals. They don't have to be major. Just getting my ass out of bed. That's goal number 1.
Yep.
I'm getting old, so sometimes the basics really matter.
How old are you, brother?
70.
No shit. Kicking ass, brother. Fuck yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Fucking A. Yeah. That's good shit.
That is good shit. I didn't know that. Wow. Look at you, man. Fucking that's
come on, baby.
Yeah.
Apparently I'm getting hit on. Sorry, folks. That's very sweet.
I knew this guy was funny.
It's important to stay active, stay busy, and as Keith knows, I'm recently retired, but staying busy with 4 different podcasts, and I got a new one coming in 2025. So you got to stay active.
Yeah,
right, Marty.
Yeah.
Marty, you look like a tender young man. You have goals and get up every day with something motivating you.
I want to be like y'all. That's my motivation right there. But you're absolutely right. You gotta stay active. Keep yourself
talking
busy,
about
man.
the coffee and cigars, or the getting up at 5 a.m. to be on the air.
Well, I'm up early to to get on here, but I don't know about the cigars though. I had a cigar one time, and when I was in Cabo, I didn't like it. So,
brother, I tell you, do not take up this habit until you are fucking deep into your journey of fucking making money, because it's not a cheap. It's definitely not a cheap habit.
And John, as you said earlier, you got to go quality.
Yeah,
you can't just buy some Tipperillo, you gotta get some good cigars.
Maybe I had a bullshit cigar.
I can't see you hucking on the cigar, Marty. I can't.
You want to see the picture?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah.
All right, after my fit tip, I'm gonna find the picture.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Absolutely.
I got you.
So Scotty, you hung out with me a few months ago on Live and Live. We did a one-on-one. I got to know you a little bit. What have you been up to in the last 6 months or so, pal? How's life been treating you? You said you got another podcast coming. What's been going on in our Scott Edwards world?
Well, thank you for asking, Keith. Here in the lab, early in the morning, it's all about podcasting, and I think you guys are trying an amazing thing, as you said in your come to Jesus moment, getting up early every day and trying to do a live streaming podcast is interesting, if not just fucking crazy. But I will say that getting a chance to communicate with the world and bring your friends on and have some good discussions about cigars and salt. What better thing is there?
Well, it's absolutely true. Well, here's the thing. We got a lot of men that have been showing up. We created this morning show for men showing up, finding us, hanging out with us, losing weight, using us as their accountability partner in the morning and recognizing that we're back here tomorrow. And accountability is a hard thing, Scott. Accountability is a super hard thing. And, knowing that folks in tune with myself, Marty and Johnny, building this platform for guys that are waking up. And I would invite you to think about this show this way, R. Scott. Think about Men's Journal, Men's Health, and Howard Stern all getting into a media company together and waking up and starting a brand new platform.
There you go.
Right?
Testosterone network.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us about the new podcast you got coming in 2025.
Well, first, I got to tell you about the exciting news of my current podcast. I found out just this morning I am #1 in Albania.
Yes. #1 in Albania. R. Scott Edwards with the podcast group. Let's go. And which one is that, R. Scott?
My main podcast is called Stand-Up Comedy, Your Host and MC. Available on all platforms. Stand-Up Comedy, Host and MC is a combination of comedy sets and interviews with people from the stand-up comedy industry of great comedy, the funny stuff, and the historical stuff. And it is a lot of fun if you like comedy and stand-up. And it's a strictly audio podcast, and it's in its 6th final year. That's right, 6th and final.
Final year.
Well, everyone says you got to go video.
Well, yeah, you got the face for video. I don't know why you wouldn't hang out in front of the camera.
Yeah, this old face, I won't say that, is certainly not anything anybody really needs to see. However, in podcasting, the video format on YouTube seems to be the future. And after 6 years of audio podcast, which I've had lots of fun with, and had some amazing interviews and some fun times. You should check it out. Stand-Up Comedy, Your Host and MC. But for the future, I have found, because I've been a producer, Marty, John, I don't know your backgrounds. I listen to the show occasionally, but I haven't picked up on your backgrounds. I've been in show business, what I call on the fringe of show business, for over 40 years, and as a producer. And I've produced thousands of live shows, concerts, 3 TV series, and now it's podcasting. But I've all and experiencing the variety arts. We're talking stand-up comedy, juggling, magic, ventriloquism, impressions, dance,
entertainment, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to bring it to the world live. That without stand-up comedy, Albania would be a quiet place and no reason to visit, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I'll tell you this. I like how you're evolving, though. You know, how you've been in the game for so long, and you just keep finding new stuff, and now you're converting a video. I really admire that. So
That's it.
A lot of people get stuck in their ways.
Oh, yeah. I'm old. It is hard to make a change, and I haven't actually done it yet. I'm now doing the search for talent. So what podcast called the Tag Team Talent Podcast, and it's me and a co-host, only the co-host will change every show.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
We're going to be showcasing 1 to 3 minute videos of talent from all over the world. And I've gotten some great, I've had a hypnotist, a few magicians, a couple of ventriloquists, and we're putting together a really fun, enjoyable, very funny video be able to showcase on this short show format. It's going to be about a 15-20 minute show each and every week, showcasing at least 3 different variety acts from around the world. But we'll see. Marty, I appreciate you saying that, because it is difficult to make know how the world's going to accept it, because I may fall off my platform in Albania. I don't, it'll be interesting to see how it happens.
Albania is just a stepping stone, brother.
The stepping stone.
That's good to hear. Thanks.
Hey, our Scott, we got Adam Host coming up.
What is so fucking funny, Marty?
You're just funny, man. You're just funny, man.
But that's the truth, man. My man is getting ready to fucking go far bigger than Albania. That's just keeping his feet from getting wet right now. He's just on that little stone, ready to jump to a bigger one.
So, boys.
I was just going to say real quick, I love how you just turned everything to a positive.
Fuck yeah, that's brother.
I'm counting on it. I know
that is the fucking mindset right there. If you allow the brain to fucking stay right there, that's where you're going to stay, baby.
That's right. So, hey, our Scott, you got your ass at a bit to hang out with us this morning. We got Adam Host joining us here in a moment, and we got AJ Zeglin coming up here for Mind Fuel. If you're not doing anything, you want to hang out with us for the rest of the show?
I have an appointment.
Oh, okay. You're a busy guy. Oh,
he's got an appointment going back to bed is what his appointment is.
I gotta get my ass back to bed.
That's right.
I love it. Well, listen, our Scott, I appreciate
the John's method. I'm gonna have a little coffee and ass going.
Let's go, baby.
Awesome. So, listen, everybody, you can find our Scott Edwards at the Stand Up Comedy Podcast Network.com. I think it is. Scott, is that where we can find you?
Yeah, I have my own network. It features a bunch of podcasts, blogs, videos, jokes of the day, even a comedy course. It's on the Stand Up Comedy Podcast.
Yes.
Which is a free app on all Android and Apple phones. So get it on your phone and have access to the best stand-up comedy out there. Podcasting is a way to communicate with the world, as all the fine people out. And it's really great to be a part of the morning in the lab here with you guys. Thanks for letting me share a few minutes with you. And what you're doing, especially when it comes to healthy food for the holidays and salt consumption, is very important.
Awesome, man.
Quick question before you go, bro. You've been doing comedy most of your life, correct? This is kind of what you've been doing, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This is why he looks so fucking good for 70 years old, because he's been basically spending his life doing his life's work, something he enjoys. Something's not fucking him up every day. That's why he looks so good at 70. So, brother, you are a living example for the people who need to invest their lives in something that makes them happy.
And smiling with our Scott Edwards. Scotty, come back, hang with us again, okay? Do it, yeah?
Hey, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, Scott.
John, Marty, Keith, of course. Thank you very much. You've now had me on twice. I appreciate it, my friend.
I got a hook because we got to have him back because, Marty, Johnny, Adam coming up here in a second. Our Scott spent time in a hot tub with Dana Carvey. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that there. Just gonna leave it there. Yeah. This young man in the tub, Johnny, with Dana Carvey. We'll bring the Scott back.
I think that's before my time.
We had our clothes on. Remember that.
Our Scott, I love you, man. I have a lot of respect for you, brother. You take care, okay?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Have a great day, brother.
Yeah,
all right. All right, Marty's coming up with the fit tip. We got Adam coming in a moment. We're going to talk morning mantras and just have some fun. Keep things light with Adam House coming up in a second. Yep. Get after him, Marty.
Keith, get off the screen, man. All right, we got the fitness tip for today, man. And you have to understand that on your fitness journey, that hardship is part of the journey, right? So in fitness, you got to embrace the grind. You got to embrace the challenging times. So when you feel pain, when you feel uncomfortable, that means you going in the right direction, right? So if you have pain on your last set, that's where the growth happens. And the comfort zone that you automatically want to go back to when you get to these hard times, the comfort zone ain't building strength. The comfort zone ain't building muscle. The comfort zone is not making you better, right? It's not getting rid of the stomach that you want to get rid of. The comfort zone isn't helping anything. It's not helping you grow. All right. So if it doesn't challenge you, it's not going to change you. So stop running away from the things you're not comfortable with. That could be leg day. That could be upper body day. That could be cardio day. That could be meal prepping. That could be eating clean. Stop running away from it and run towards it. So you pushing through a tough workout or resisting the late night snack. Those are hard things, and that's going to build the resilience when you don't feed into it. All right. Now, we got a study in behavioral neuroscience, and this found that experiencing and overcoming discomfort is going to boost your physical and your mental strength. The growth thrives in adversity. So, with all that being said, come on, stop bitching, stop running away from the hard things in the gym. It's not easy for me, it's not easy for Johnny, not easy for Keith, even though Keith, it's like, no, I'm playing, but it's not easy for any of us. All right. So embrace the hard times, get to work, stay positive, keep going, stay consistent, stay disciplined. That's the fitness tip for today.
Fit tip of the day from C Marty Fit with your regular, your local punching bag, Uncle Keith.
I punch on Johnny too. I punch on Johnny too.
You guys just keep bringing the punches. What's going on, Mr. House? Good to have you here.
What's up, House?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Brother? Keith, you're such an easy target, man. I knew he was going to go after you. I just knew it.
It's true. Between you and Johnny and Marty, and then now we have our young fella, R. Scott Edwards, here hanging out, just throwing salt at me here. I'm just, all right, I'll just put the target on my head and come at me. That's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
It's all love. It's all
love.
It's
all good. Hey, so we're talking morning mantras.
I felt like I had to have a joke after listening to that guy. So why did the Scarecrow win an award?
Oh, Jesus, Murphy. I don't know, Adam House. Why did the Scarecrow win an award?
Because he was outstanding in his field.
Oh,
come on, let's go.
I figured it was. I figured it was going to be unique and lead back to business, which it was. So great job, brother.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, he's outstanding in his field. Come on, guys. Yeah. That's good stuff right there.
Here's what you get for that there, House. Just some crickets on that one here.
Yeah.
So, hey, so I thought we would talk. I thought we'd keep the conversation light as we're heading into the back end of the year here, and everybody's keeping things light. And I know business is still happening, Adam, but I was doing some research on today's show here, and Google's telling me that the YouTubers are searching. The folks on YouTube and the folks in the world are searching for motivation around mantras. People love the idea of a mantra. Adam, when you hear of a mantra, what do you hear? When you think of a mantra, do you use one? Do you think they're hooey, fluey, fluffy, or have mantras helped you get through obstacles in life, Adam?
Well, I don't know if it's the Canadian accent, but it's called a mantra.
So there we go. I was thinking for a second, is there some brother word here we're talking about that I realized no, it's in context, it's just pronouncing it wrong.
Oh,
when Keith did the intro, I said the same thing, but I was like, I get on Keith too much.
I got to get my boy AJ on here in a moment so it's a mantra, tomato. All right, House, mantra. Do you have a mantra that you lean into?
So I never had one specifically, and then when I started on the keynote speaking circuit, one of the things they have to focus on is what is your battle cry, and everyone went up on stage and kind of tossed some ideas out, and I came up with mine. I said build brick by brick, and it was just like mic drop. Everyone loved it. So I mean, it just kind of ties into the House of Bricks mindset, using life's experiences for you, turning obstacles into stepping stones. So my mantra for 2025 is to build brick by brick.
Oh, I like that. And that's when you put it that way. Since I've met you, I guess it makes a lot of sense. Building the brick by brick idea is a great mantra. Do you think they're fluffy, Adam, or do you see the reason why people lean into them?
I think it's just a different name that people are using now that's common. I mean, mantras, like you think about yoga and all that, so can seem a little bit passive at times, but I mean, people have always had a battle cry, right? Going back to gladiator movies or any of that, like, you know, the general's on his horse, you know, calling out the battle cry. So it's same thing. I call it a battle cry, not a mantra.
Yeah. Yeah. Johnny, Marty, when you hear about mantras and you heard Adam talking about them, what do you guys think about this?
I mean, from the jump, you know, I would tell myself, you know, I'm here putting in the work and nobody else is. You know, I would tell myself it's not about, you know, it's not about, you know, going through the motions. It's about getting the job done and doing more than everybody else is willing to do. You know, so I was always from the jump programming myself with the fact that I was willing to do what others would not.
Yeah. Yeah. Adam, how can businesses properly incorporate mantras into their business? You know, we talk vision statements, mission statements, or, you know, leaders and entrepreneurs are always looking to rally the troops. Is a mantra another way to get people rallied up, or is it literally, Adam, just another way to give people another reason to do this to you as the leader? Going, oh yeah, the guy's spitting something else at me. Or do you think they're provocative enough to get people moving, Adam?
So this is the difference between motivation and inspiration versus transformation, right? So you can have a mantra moment, but a mantra is not magic. It's preparation, it's consistency. So you may get your team excited for a moment, but it's that consistent every day that's going to lead to the successful outcome. So I would caution people, you know, calling a company meeting and saying, hey, here's my new mantra. You know, It's more change the way you are doing things. And then you can say that is our build brick by brick mentality, and people will have seen the evidence. So it's not just another idea from the top.
Well, you know, I love that, brother, because when I was using my mantra to myself, it was always when I was kicking ass. It wasn't when I was sitting still. It's when I was actually in action. That's when I would repeat my mantra to myself. It wasn't about sitting on the fucking couch telling myself I would do what everyone else. I didn't sit on the couch. You know, that's part of the mantra, you know.
Marty?
Yeah, what Johnny said. What comes to mind for me is, I'm sorry, I was trying so hard not to laugh at John. But
where's the fucking comedy about what I'm saying today, brother? I gotta know.
Nah, it's just like I love it. I actually admire it. But I was gonna say what you made me think about, John, was like a positive affirmation that people. That's like a new thing people do now. Like, I'm going to do positive affirmations. Well, you need some action behind it. So. What good is a positive affirmation if you're not putting any action behind it? So that's pretty much what I thought about Johnny. So that's why I was laughing, John. Sorry.
Well, you know, because a lot of these fucking terms are becoming very popular. You know, the high performer, this, that, and the other. Well, Jesus Christ, you know, there's the people that have been kicking ass their whole lives just didn't have it was a different vocabulary for what we were doing. That's the difference.
Yep.
What I like about
mantra, listen. What John just said, like, I'm like so fed up with people. Like, no one has an hour and a half morning routine when they're broke. Okay, you are like starving in the morning. You maybe grab a couple eggs, hit the gym, grab coffee, work all day, come home, work all night. Like these guys, like Tony Robbins, you know, he's got a cold plunge, infrared sauna, $1 million nutritionist. Like these people do not. You don't start there. You just make a morning routine better and more comfortable when you got millions of dollars.
House, I'm glad you brought that up, brother, because you are bang on. There's so many experts out there talking about it after they've already made it, right? So let's talk about Tony Robbins' routine while he was grinding. Nobody ever talks about that part of it, right? Nobody's talking about all the work he put into when he wasn't jumping into the cold plunge. Right. So if that mantra is to say and I guess in many ways, it's the purpose of our show, right? Do not hit the fucking snooze button, get your ass out of bed and get going. That's really what the mantra is, right?
Yeah. Tony Robbins was broke, dude. He got evicted. He was washing his clothes in the sink. You know, I mean, he didn't start at the top.
Yeah.
I mean, my early version of morning routine was basically just getting up and creating an extra 3 hours for myself. I was like, okay, I'm in a position where I need this time. I'm going to create it. So I would get up early. I didn't really have a routine. I had shit to do. So I was fucking up early to give myself that extra 3 hours. That was my routine. Get the fuck up and get moving.
Yeah. Start with 30 minutes, listeners. Okay. Like, work your way.
Yeah. No, granted, for sure. I'm not saying that's what everybody does, but my morning routine was getting up and creating that extra time. That's what it was. That's period. That's it.
And I would invite folks who are listening right now and tuning in a little bit later that if you're thinking about getting into a mantra and you're struggling with following through on it, one thing I would offer you might want to consider is journaling. Right now, we talk about it often on the show, Adam. You and I talk about it, Johnny. Me, Marty talk about it. But if you got a mantra, it's one thing to say it or one thing to put a tattoo on it or write it down. But perhaps writing it down into a journal helps you act on that mantra. Right, Adam? Tying in your mantra into your activities in your journal and going back and reflecting upon that. There's power in that, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a level of commitment, right? When it gets from your mind to a pen to a piece of paper. And the best part about journaling is you can go back and see how many things you were worried about that never happened, right?
Yep.
Or go back and see the commitments that you made to yourself, that you kept to yourself. And it helps build that consistency and also removes fear of the unknown because 80% of what we worry about never happens.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we got Adam House hanging out with us this morning to the live with Keith and friends coming by for the brick of the week. We're talking mantras today with Adam. Adam, what do you got on the agenda today? I know you got a pretty busy things happening. How many Zoom meetings you got on the calendar today, brother?
It's a light day, probably 8.
There you go. Only 8. Only 8 for Adam today. Yeah, there you go.
It's good. Finishing the year strong. 2025 is a breakout year for everybody.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, well, listen, we're going to walk Adam out of here. We got AJ Zeglin joining us. We thought we'd have just a fun, light conversation about mantras this morning with Adam. You can find Adam at the House of Bricks community, the greatest community for entrepreneurs and business leaders, guys that are stuck, needing some help in business. Go hook up with Adam House over on the House of Bricks, and we'll welcome Adam back here next week to keep the show rocking and rolling. Adam, get after it. What's your mantra for the day, brother?
Build brick by brick, baby. Thanks, fellas. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Adam.
All right, Adam, see you.
All right. Adam's going to get out of here. We are going to bring in AJ Zeglin, but before we do that, we are going to do this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Come on, baby.
Get after it, Johnny.
Well, the good news about today is my brain and my mouth are much more connected than they were yesterday. So, if you're ready to make some serious goddamn progress, here's the tip. Do not get lost in the details. Details are great, but what you got to focus on is the one element that you need to focus on to move forward. Take the first step and get moving. You focus on details, you're going to end up not doing what you need to do, which is to take the bull by the horns and take that first uncomfortable step. Not to mention all the details you plan for step 2 and step 3 are probably not going to be applicable after step 1 actually goes into place. So the tip is simple. The tip is this. Don't get lost in the details. Focus on the one thing you need to do to move the needle forward today. Rock and roll.
Like that. Good one, Johnny. Love having your energy back here, brother. Good to have you there. Good morning, AJ.
I was just surviving yesterday, baby.
I appreciate you joining us. Good morning, AJ. What's going on, brother?
Morning.
How you guys what's up, brother? How are you?
Proudly wearing the Winnipeg t-shirt today. I love that, man. Nice you promoting off the old city of Winnipeg.
Yeah, absolutely. Always.
I love that. All right. Listen, we're talking mantras today in the lab this morning, AJ, and keeping it light and fun. And I did a little bit of research with the old AI last night, and I was asked some questions on long-term studies on the effects of morning mantras. Before I get into that, AJ, guys coming into your practice, guys knocking on your door looking for help with Invictus, and AJ is obviously a leader in psychotherapy, helping men, men stuck in life. AJ, when you hear me say mantra, what do you hear? Is it part of your life? Is it something you teach to others? Talk about that in the world of mental performance and mental psychotherapy. Mantras, AJ Zeglin.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so first I hear mantra, not mantra.
Yes.
but you guys also say, instead of out, you say out.
I feel like, but my same American friends will try to always convince me that it's pronounced decal instead of decal. But
Oh, that's a doozy right there. I wouldn't even know what the fuck you were talking about.
Yeah, what
holy
the
shit
fuck is that?
Yeah,
I remember my first year playing football down there. They were like talking about our logos on the side of our helmets, right? And they were like, make sure you hand in your helmet. They had just been painted. Make sure you hand them in to the equipment manager. They got to put the decals on. And I'm like, the decals? Like, you know? And then I'm like, I remember going, I'm like, hey, I got to hand in my helmet for the decal. And they're like, what are you talking about? What's a decal? I'm like, you know, like the sticker on the helmet. And yeah, it was the...
Where we struggle, Johnny Marty, is with Led Zeppelin.
how do you say that one?
Well, do you say Z or Z?
I don't know. How the fuck do you say it? Spit it out.
Well, it's kind of like, is it Zeppelin or is Zeppelin? Like, is it Zed? So because for us here in Canada, we say Zed. You say Z, don't you?
You say literally for the letter Z, you say Zed.
Yeah, we say Zed.
That's way overcomplicating a simple sound right there. Jesus Christ, that's the problem right there. You've overcomplicated a simple task. Yeah, that's it right there. I keep it simple. That's why I tell you every day. God damn it, keep it simple. You do it even to a fucking letter.
Yeah, you guys can stay up there. You don't need to be part of the states. Just stay the fuck up there.
AJ, I'm gonna get a fucking mantra on my arm that says Zed is too complicated. Jon Andersen.
I get it all the time with my last name, right? I got a Z. My last name starts with Z. So whenever I'm making a phone call down to the States or talking to any of my American friends, they assume that my name's pronounced Zeglin instead of Zeglin, right? And I'm always like, no, it's Zeglin. And I'm like, it's Zed, not Z, you know?
Well, names are, there's that with a name, you can kind of play with that because sometimes there's weird fucking pronunciations for a name, but just a straight up letter, we got to simplify that up there.
Good morning, Adam from New Zealand. Good morning, Anzar Ahmed. I see you there here in the lab. Hey, listen, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, like and share it with your buddies. AJ, let's keep talking mantras. Where do they fit? Where do they fit in your toolbox?
Yeah.
Like, actually, where do they fit in your toolbox? Is it as simple as, hey, I'm all struggling. I'm struggling with life. My head's all messed up. Oh, Keith, just adopt the mantra. Done. You're out of here. See ya. Here's $100. Bye. Are they as simple as that? Or is there more to it, AJ?
Well, yeah, there's a little more to it, but it is a really simple tool to use and it's really effective. It's just like I put mantras or whatever you want to call them, affirmations, it's all under the category for me of positive self-talk. It's just how we talk to ourselves, right?
Yes.
And if we talk to ourselves in a positive way, we're more likely to have a positive outcome. We're more likely to attract and notice more positive things around us. So, it can be helpful for that. I use it with a lot of athletes that I work with. It can be a really effective way to help get us in a positive frame of mind. It could be a really effective way to deliver a message in the shortest amount of words possible, right? If you're an athlete, you belong to a team, or you're part of a business, you want to build an environment and a culture that people buy into. That one word or phrase or term can have a much greater meaning, right? But you don't always have time when we're looking from a performance standpoint to sit there and think about something for 10 minutes that has all these different parts to it and all this different meaning to it. But, if we could simplify that into one word, term, or phrase, and we know that, hey, I'm part of this team that's been around for 50 years. There's 50 years of tradition and culture in this team or this business. And I can simplify it and I can put it down into one word or phrase or saying. Then when I utilize that as an athlete or as a performer, obviously can be just a very effective way to deliver that message in a simple way so we can use it when we need it, right? If we're stuck in a negative loop, if we're doubting ourselves, we have a bunch of negative emotions, we need to interrupt them and flip that switch and get back in a positive state of mind. We could just tell ourselves that's Adam, your last guest, called it a battle cry. I like that. You could call it whatever you want, right? All it is something that has meaning to you. It's just got to be important to you, right? It's just got to make sense to you. And if it does, it's just like a trigger, right? We talk about negative triggers all the time. And, I hear this word and, it triggered me and it's this and that. There's positive triggers too, right? We could hear a word and just be like, all right, like it's time to go. You know what I mean? Like, let's do this. And so, yeah, we use them a lot. I've used them a lot. I use them for myself. I use them with people I work with, and they're a pretty effective tool of positive self-talk.
Some would say they're fluffy, AJ.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends what you attach to it, right?
Yes.
Or when you use it, fuck, if you're sitting there on the fucking couch telling yourself you've got some mantra, it's not fucking working. That mantra is supposed to keep you off the couch. You got to be using that mantra when you're in action. That's this whole thing. People don't, you're not going to talk yourself into action. Get the fuck up, get moving, take the first step. Then when that mantra is going to work, when you start reminding yourself that you're doing the shit that you should be doing, that's when the reinforcement actually has teeth or traction, if you will.
There's a mantra that I'm reminded of. You guys all know I'm a fan of the Peloton platform, and I ride my bike with a number of the instructors. And one of the instructors she's a professional rider. She's had quite success in her career, and she uses a mantra which is I am, I can, I will, I do. And it's interesting because when she's in these situations, like within our rides, and the going gets tough, I hear her articulating it, to the class members, but also herself. But that's, to your point, Johnny, is when one is in the thick of things, right?
Yeah.
It's when you're telling yourself the mantra how to get through it, right, AJ? Or you're on the 2-yard line trying to get the ball, and the quarterback is spewing something in the huddle, saying, "Okay, boys." One and done kind of thing, right? That's the power of the mantra. You're in the thick of it, right, AJ?
Yeah, absolutely. It always starts with action, right? Yeah. The secret sauce, or whatever you want to call it, in who we are and who we're trying to be, is found in what we do.
Yes.
Not what we say.
Yes.
Right? So it's just a piece like that we can use to help refocus us, energize us, motivate us, but none of that works without action. John's right. Like, you could sit on the couch and be the king of mantras and have a million mantras for all this different stuff. If you never leave the couch, who gives a shit? Like, it doesn't matter.
Here's another thing that I basically, this happened to me. I didn't realize it happened until I started to kind of look back and try to understand, how I could be more powerful with my self-talk, so to speak. My mantra actually connected itself to a challenge. So like if I had if I was taking a set of squats, say I had 500 pounds in a bar. For a long time, I was trying to break 25 reps in one set. Right? That's a big fucking daunting thing. You're going to squat till you fail trying to get this. So I would go into that set reminding myself I will do the shit that most people will not do it. It would just be like a shit. Remember in the movie with Over the Top, Stallone would turn his hat around? Yeah. Right? Yes. That mantra, when I would, 100%. So when I would walk into a situation, like even before, whatever I was doing, a challenge would confront me. Boom, that mantra would click. And now I'm getting into that space. Every time that challenge gets worse, that mantra kicks, and I'm just going deeper into my zone. I mean, in my first book, I call it a portal, where you get to a certain point where everything else is quiet and you just see this opportunity, this little window opening up in front of you where you don't see shit. You dive into that and you're in your space. Well, now you're fucking up whatever you're doing.
What's interesting? We're talking mantras, AJ. I'm thinking about actually Lane Norton. We know who Lane is. We've had him on. We've featured him on, discussed him on the show before. He's a successful power lifter. I watch him when he does his lifts.
Yeah,
it would seem that his mantra is as much a physical action, less so words. Or Connor Hellebuck, our local goalie here in Winnipeg. Like, mantras don't always have to be words; they can be a word and an action. Sylvester Stallone turning his hat. Like, talk about the power of the physical action, because it's the same. There's the mantra can be a physical action too, right, AJ?
Yeah, well, that's the power of routines, right? So there's a lot of power in routine. Oftentimes routines are made up. Each individual component of a routine is a helpful tool on its own. It stands alone. Yeah. Right. So let's say I had a routine where I took a couple deep breaths when I found myself getting like just flustered or really anxious. Maybe I'm a performer in something and I find myself I need to regulate myself. I find myself just getting my emotions getting away from myself. I take a couple deep breaths and then I tell myself something, my mantra, right? Okay. So That is, I'm now using a breathing technique coupled with some positive self-talk. Those two things both can be beneficial on their own, but when you put them together like that, when you have something that you say and you turn the hat or you do whatever, that becomes a routine. And the power of the routine is if we do it consistently enough, then our body and our mind know what is expected of it after that routine is finished.
Yeah.
Right. So we're like, hey, this is the routine that I do to get fired up, to go, this is a routine I do to let things go, and you can incorporate, people have visualizations and different stuff within their routines, but routines can be really short too. They can be 10 seconds long or 5 seconds long.
Rarely are you going to find a high level lifter that doesn't have some sort of an approach to a big lifter. Very rarely.
Absolutely.
Very rarely.
Absolutely.
This is my action mantra right here. When I put these on,
I like that.
I turn into a different person. I don't know why. But
I get that. No, I get that. I get that. You know what I love about this, AJ, is as I was setting up for today's show, on the outside, this would seem like it's a fluffy topic, but I got to be honest with you, it's an exceptionally powerful tool when you're trying to move mountains.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. If you've ever been a part of something powerful, I grew up in the world of sports, like the programs that I played for and the coaches that I played for, like we had stuff written on the walls in our locker room and in our weight room that we believed in.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like we bought into that 100%. That word, that phrase, that statement encapsulated who we were. And it was like our rally call, like, you know what I mean? Like this is what we're about. And then our actions obviously, displayed that, right? Our actions were indicative of what our mantra was, or what what we told ourselves, like this is who we are, this is what we're about, right?
Well, I love it because it's timely, because I said here during the opening show here, during the opener, this has been the hardest thing I've ever done. There's no question about it. Like, without a doubt, from a business perspective, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And I'm using fucking mantras every day these days. And I'm reminding myself of like what Johnny said, right? I'm doing this shit. Johnny's doing this shit. Marty's doing this shit. Nobody else is doing. There's nobody else showing up on LinkedIn or YouTube doing this morning show every single day. Right. And there's this mantra that gets me out of bed in the morning. Okay, it's time to fucking go again. You know what I mean? Because nobody else is. Right. And that's just kind of where you stand on that. Right. So, AJ, powerful stuff here, man. Like I said, I'm really grateful for you joining us here to have this conversation and really simplify it, because you're right. It takes action, but the power behind words, when you can believe them, they can create magic, can't they, AJ?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you give them power by your action, by what C. Marty and John were saying. Like, it can't just be all talk. You know what I mean? So if by you backing that up, by you taking action to it and putting action to the words or terms or phrase that's meaningful to you, you give them power, right? Like, you give them real power. You make them important, and you make them a useful tool for you to have.
Yeah. And, it's another thing that, just to share some of my version of this whole thing, is having some that help me identify that line in the sand. Like, okay, this is where most people don't continue, like the phrase, pressure will cause most men to break, some men to break records. That's a big one for me, because it's like, when you want to quit, that's what everybody else is fucking quitting. And when you continue to push, you're inside that small group of people, and those are the motherfuckers who break records.
Yeah.
I love that one.
I love that one. That's powerful stuff, man.
We had a great one. One of my mentors in the industry that I work in strength and conditioning would always tell me that there's no traffic on the extra mile. So
yeah, that's exactly right, man. It thins out real fucking quick,
Yeah, that one always stuck with me. And then my own personal favorite, which has been something that I adopted over the course of my life, because when I was 8 years old, my favorite movie in the world was already Predator. And I mean, I've never seen a cast put together that's just a greater cast in the world. Best movie I've ever seen. There's a line in that movie, if you remember, where they're just kind of trying to piece it together. They're just kind of coming to this conclusion that this thing that's hunting them is maybe not from this planet, right? And you have Arnold Schwarzenegger, talking Dutch in the movie, talking with Billy Bear, their tracker, and and they realize that there was some blood left on a leaf, and Arnold looks and he's like, if it bleeds, we can kill it. And that resonated with me from a young kid. And that's been one of my mantras my whole life. You're met with these challenges that seem just insurmountable and they seem overwhelming. And how can we win? You know what I mean? They're being hunted by this alien from another planet. But it's just like, yeah, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Like, there's a way through this challenge. Like, there's a way to get through this. We can win this. We can do this. And that's just been one that I've adopted. And every time I'm in a tough situation, I tell myself it could be business, life, school, work, personal shit, anything like that. And I'm just like, if it bleeds, we can kill it. And it just lets me know that, like, this is something that I could get through. It's going to be hard, but there's a solution and I can work through it.
If it bleeds, we can kill it. Morning mantras with AJ Zeglin here.
And it's Arnold in that cast, like
quoting Predator, one of the classic movies of all time. Nation
maybe
is
the greatest.
If you're getting your day started and you're stuck, invite yourself to ask yourself this question. If it bleeds, you can kill it. Get after it.
Well, that wasn't a question, but good job, Keith.
All right, AJ, man, I love it. I love having you on the show here.
Good stuff, AJ.
And Thursday.
Always good, brother.
For a minefield. And you know what, John and Marty, making mantras relatable, right? And making them, I would say, also actionable, AJ, because like you said, and Johnny said, you can sit on the couch and spew them all you want. You can put tattoos all over your body with every mantra under the sun.
Is that a jab at me?
No, because I know Zeglin's got a bunch of tattoos on his body.
Okay.
Because we know that people put mantras on their body, right? And I'm just my point is that it's one thing to put it on your body, but if you're not going to act upon it, don't go through the pain of putting it on your body.
Well, I was going to say that the mistake people make is they put it on there hoping that that's going to be what's going to help them do it. You got to, if you're fucking doing it for 10 years, you're like, okay, this is what I'm all about. That's what a tattoo. My belief in tattoos is you put something on there that actually has fucking meaning, not because it looks cool.
I agree.
All right, Zeglin, what do you got on the agenda today, man? What's the mantra for AJ Zeglin today?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I wish I had a super sick one right off the top of my head that I can just drop on you guys and then leave the show. But
well, you did. It was the Predator one was pretty good, brother.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I like it.
The Predator one was
good. I mean,
you
can use that motherfucker every day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's an evergreen right there. It's never gonna stop right there.
Awesome. Absolutely. All right, AJ, we got a couple things we're going to talk about here in the back half end of the show here. We're going to talk about 15 phrases you'll rarely hear a healthy, supportive man. We're going to talk about some of the places Americans fantasize about having sex coming up in the second half hour of the show here. And then, of course, the creator spotlight. AJ, if you want to stick around, you're welcome to stick around. I know you got a pretty busy day ahead of you.
I'm back in the gym and then in the clinic again this afternoon. So typical kind of schedule for me.
Awesome. AJ,
get right, AJ.
We'll see you on
Thursday. Man.
Have a great day, brother.
See you guys.
All right, AJ. AJ's out of here. I think Marty's got to rock and roll as well.
I got to rock and roll, man. I wish I could talk to you all day.
That's it. Marty's got to go drones.
Listen, everything bleeds, so I'm killing everything today. That's my mantra right there. I see y'all tomorrow, man.
Have a good loop, brother.
All right, y'all.
Johnny's gonna go for a break, and then we're gonna keep the conversation going. We got a few topics for the show here, and then we're gonna wrap it up at the bottom of the hour with the creator spotlight. Yes, Adam, that's not the mantra you were expecting. No, we were just talking morning mantras and things to get ourselves rolling here. The first hour of the show, we had our Scott Ebers join us from Scott's Comedy Store. Funny guy. I invite you to go back and listen to the top of the hour. He joined us for Center Stage. We learned about his morning routine. And then we had Adam House joining us at the bottom of the hour. We talked mantras as well. Or in the States, it's mantras. In Canada, we call them mantras. Adam Peters, what do you call them? My friend Adam there joining us here, of course. I appreciate you joining the show here, Adam. And we got, what else we got here? We got Ansar Ahmad. I appreciate you joining the show here, Ansar. We are going to ask John the question when he does come back about why are you using words all the time? Fucking. Yes, good question. We are going to ask him shortly when he comes back. And Ansar also says that I'm admired for watching your live podcast. All the guys are very handsome and give very beautiful mantras. Yes, well, so Ansar, I know that I'm handsome and the rest are somewhat handsome, but hey, collectively, I think that we are We are a combined handsome group all together. John Warner Laster is jumping in with a comment on the mantra side of things. Minute by minute, let's see here. What do you got here? Minute by minute, day by day, I'm better and stronger in every way. I like that, John Warner Laster. Is that your mantra that you get yourself going every single day? Is that what you use to get yourself out of bed every single day? And then, of course, we got Adam with British English off branch. So we butcher the English language just a tad more like the South Africans and Canadians. Yes, Adam, hey, wait a minute. Are you putting us into the bucket as well, Adam? That's some pretty funny stuff there. Hey, we all like to say it. So we got roof, tomato, garbage, garage. I know that when we have Flinner on the show, she's always teasing me about how we say garage and garbage. We got Johnny back on the show here. Johnny, we got a question from Business Athlete Nation, Mr. Anderson. And it is directed specifically at Jon Andersen from our friend Ansar Ahmad. He says, John, why are you using words all the time? Fucking. This is my question. Please don't mind.
Well, I think what he's saying is, why am I cursing today? Why am I cursing more today? Is that my assumption? Is that what you assume too?
I think it's just part of our lexicon here on the show, Anderson. We just tend to drop F-bombs every now and then, but I love
me more than normal today, I will say, because, obviously getting into the proper headspace for me,
yes,
after going what I'm going through is required a little bit more, I guess you'd say, me being a hard ass, even with myself. And I tend to curse more when I'm in that mode.
Oh yeah, no kidding, eh? You get a little more intensity, eh?
Oh yeah, but it's for sure. I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, I can't say that saying the word fuck is like some special power, but I think it just has to do with getting to a more rigid, hardcore side of my personality, and that's what I needed today to make sure that I really, really get back on track.
Yeah, I hear. And then John Warner last just saying, "Fuck yeah, exactly." We got Adam Peters. We got Adam Peters coming in here. Adam, you're right, man. It is hard and it sucks from time to time, but because you show up every day with the same energy, you will end up being successful. I got you, brother. And mantras are all the same here. And then we got Ansar coming in with, I think your podcast will be very useful for me. We hope so, Ansar. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, I invite you to do so. Go head on over to Mornings in the Lab and subscribe to that channel for us. But Johnny, I got a few things I wanted to throw on the table for us to talk about this morning before we get into the Creator Spotlight, which is, hey, first of all, I know you're an iPhone user. I like to have some fun with this, but you can create custom memojis now with your iPhone of yourself, of Terry, of your kids.
Memoji?
Yeah, a memoji. Yeah, so I'm sharing with you because there's guys.
Hold on. What is a memoji?
Yeah, it's the next level of the emoji. So I know how I love your emojis, brother. You send me great emojis all the time. So I'm telling you this because people don't know this. With the new upgrades to our iPhones here recently, you have the ability now to create what's called a memoji, which is taking a picture from your photos, or AI will create some fun generated emojis of your content. So
interesting.
I think that you could probably create some really fun things. So there's some fun ways you can bring that iPhone to life with creating some fun memojis. But Johnny, top places Americans fantasize about having sex. This was a fun one for me when I found it out here. A sexual wellness company surveyed 2,000, Johnny, U.S. adults about the places they fantasize.
How old were they?
They did not say they did not give a list of how old everybody was, but they did certainly. What are you thinking about with the? I guess I know where you're going with this. I guess if you're thinking somebody's in their 20s or 30s are having different places about having sex with maybe in their 40s or 50s, right?
Well, I would just think if they're a little older, that a lot of these places would be checked off. So then there would be the places that they're fantasizing about would be more, I guess you'd say, interesting, maybe seem out of reach for people that just started having sex.
Yes. So I just found it actually. So so the study was done with most people over the age of 30. So
okay, so kind of right in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Exactly. So this was the answers, which was around where people fantasize about the most dreamt about locations. Number one, this one's kind of lame, Johnny. In the shower. Really?
You see, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. If you haven't had sex in the shower, man, you got to start living.
Well, yeah, 100%. Like, honest to God, if you're not, you know, like
this is exactly what I was worried about.
Yeah.
Is this going to show how little, I guess you'd say, little experience? That's the wrong word. I mean, how is it going to show how people are not liberated sexually? That they're worried about having sex in these different spots that should have already been done, like the shower.
I was doing some research around the show here, and I was doing some studies. I was looking at some studies. Like, for the most part, folks are having sex once a week, 52 times a year, as they're getting older. Like, oh my God, I don't know how you can. I don't know how you live with that kind of whole idea. Number 2, Johnny, was on the beach.
Yeah. I you know, I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, let's go a little to the roots of this. You know, people aren't having as much sex. People in obviously in America 20 years ago, if you looked at how people lived their life, how they ate was so much different. I think that the way that people are living their lifestyle now is really gypping some of their, you know, sex life, because maybe they're not confident with, you know, maybe they're not having sex in the shower because they're not confident being naked in front of their partner with the fucking lights on.
Wow.
I mean, literally, I mean, that's the kind of shit that goes through my head. Is like, God damn it. If people would start to take care of themselves and have that confidence, you know, then, you know, I mean, let's be honest, when you're confident in who you are and how you look and how you feel, sex is just like it's just something that kind of just oozes out of you. But when you're scared to death of all that stuff, you're fucking hiding from it.
It's interesting you raise confidence and lights on. And that's a fascinating conversation for us to have, I think, in the future, because how many couples become intimate but don't want to have the lights on because of a lack of confidence? And when you hear that, Johnny, it makes me sad. And let me expand upon this. Like, you know, if you and I are being, let's go here. If you and I are being intimate together, you know, we're in a couple together, and I don't have the confidence, you know, when we're going to have sex together because we got to have the lights off, that makes me sad, because it means that we're not connected emotionally. It doesn't mean we're connected in a way where you don't feel you can be vulnerable to me. And Johnny, I'm going to bet there's a lot of human beings that fall into that bucket of not turning the lights on because they're not comfortable with themselves. You follow me?
And the lights on is really a symbol.
Yes,
it's not just the lights. It's this whole fucking conversation, because if the lights were on, then I bet a lot of these places would be handled, so to speak. You know what I mean? And it just, for me, it just kind of, I guess to a certain extent, it's a little sad if this is the current state of people.
We got Adam coming in as we're going through this. That sand gets everywhere, and then Adam says, "Johnny, trust me. Not cool having sand between your butt crack." I'm thinking Adam might know the answer to, or Adam might have that experience of having sand in the butt crack.
Well, that's you got to have experience enough to not to let that happen, Adam.
And then Ansar Ahmed comes back with, actually, many people all the time use the same kind of words in India, because Ansar's joining us from India. We're getting back to the fucking word, Johnny. And then Ansar, Johnny, he loves your voice. You are all a very good person, and your voice is very beautiful, and he loves your voice.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. It's a nice compliment.
Number 3, Adam, you tuning in, Adam? In a car. So out of the two,
Jesus Christ, that might be one of the fucking first places to have sex, for God's sake. Right. I had more sex in fucking vehicles when I was in high school than I did any other place on the planet.
Number 4 were Americans. So out of the 2,000 folks that were surveyed, U.S. adults, by wellness company Love Honey, places they fantasize about having sex, Johnny. Number 4 on the list was in a pool.
In a pool, goodness gracious.
No, yeah, those are like watery, in the shower, on the beach, in a pool. The next one's in the ocean. Yeah. Next one on the list is on top of a pool table.
Okay, this is getting a little bit more daring, but I still think all of these fall into the category of what we're talking about.
Yes, and then the last 3 on the list here, and then Adam, water sucks. Number 7 is at work. right? So finding a boardroom, finding an office, closing the doors. So that's so you can kind of see where the fantasy goes world here, which is doing it at work and I'm going to think, Johnny, that if it's happening at work, there's a potential likelihood that it might not be happening with your partner at work.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that one is probably driven by somebody that's wearing something that's floating your boat for the day.
Yes, exactly, right.
So I guess for some people, maybe it's good that you have the lights off mentality because it's keeping your shit in your pants when you're at work.
That's it. The next one is in a limo, folks. I want to have sex in a limo. I guess the first thing is being in a limo, right? I'm surprised that the airplane wasn't on here, like the Mile High Club, like wanted to have sex on an airplane.
Well, I think that's I think that is way too far off the Richter scale for this group.
Apparently, yeah. Apparently, anybody.
That was one I was thinking to myself. If some of these were like really out there, then we were surveying a group of people who had more confidence in, who they are, and their sex life was a little bit more daring.
Yes. All right. And then we have this one's an interesting one, Johnny, because this one actually leads back to at work, which is out of the 2,000 adults that are surveyed in the US for where they like to fantasize about having sex, number 10 on the list was in a friend or family member's home. So again, I'm thinking that maybe it's not with your partner, maybe you're having an affair, or maybe something's crazy going on there, but the fantasy is about doing it at the friend's house or at the family member's home. Again, maybe it's not with yourself is what I'm wondering with that one there.
Yeah, I would agree that one right there would be, because you shouldn't, God, I would hope to God you're not worried about having sex in a family member's home with you when you go to visit with your wife or your girlfriend, for God's sake.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Before we get to the creator spotlight, so there we go. The 10 places that Americans fantasize about having sex: in the shower, on the beach, in a car, in a pool, in the ocean, on top of a pool table, at work, in a sauna, in a limo, or in a friend or a family's home is where folks are fantasizing about having sex, which I found quite fascinating. Johnny, before we get to the creator spotlight, I want to show you something, man. A couple weeks ago, we were talking with Dave Bautista. You know Bautista, the big wrestler guy. Yeah. So I found something, man. Fucking blew me away yesterday. I gotta show you this, Jimmy. I don't know if I'm gonna get this for you, Jimmy, for the horizontal, Jimmy. I'm just gonna throw it into your Jimmy. There it is, there, Jimmy. I gotta show you something, brother. It's gonna fucking blow you away. I was like, holy smoke-a-ronies. Check out this transformation image.
I think I know the picture you're talking about. Put it up there.
Check out this picture of Dave Bautista. It is unbelievable because I did not recognize him when I saw it. Check this out.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Look at that, Johnny. Like, I know you saw the picture of him in I showed you the nice suit there when he was slim down. But look at him with the hair. Like, you don't even recognize. He looks like Kurt Russell. He looks like I'm imagining that's with you with hair, Jon Andersen.
Well, he's going big into movies. So obviously he's got to get into, now he's clearly, he was in movies for, his physique and how he looked and, kind of this, this unstoppable force. Well, clearly now he's trying to open up, the roles that he can get. So good for him.
Yeah, I look. So I know we like talking transformations here, and I saw the picture, and I was like, "Holy smokes, that is!" Because I'm a fan of Bautista, man. If I got a man crush, I'm gonna say Bautista's definitely on my man crush. I was looking, man, the guy's looking handsome, man. He's growing his hair out, and I like what he's bringing to the table from the acting side of things. So I thought that was quite interesting. All right, Jimmy, let's do the creator spotlight before we wrap up the show here with Johnny here. Let's do this here. I'm going to get the show. I'm going to get the feed set up here for us, and let's see here. So this fellow has been very, very active on LinkedIn, on my platforms, interacting with our content, engaging with the content. He's all about spiritual and executive coaching. Hold on a second here. I'm just going to pull this over here. He's all about helping you become the bridge, Johnny, between your current and aspirational self with whole person coaching. He's from the greater Phoenix area. You ever spent any time in Arizona, Johnny?
Yeah, but we actually did a movie out there once.
Oh yeah. What movie did you do?
It's called The Dog Wedding.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was like real time stuff. So it was, it was small, obviously very small production. So it's beautiful out there.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. So this fellow, he's from Arizona. He's all about, like I said, he's all about helping you become the bridge between your current and aspirational self. He's all about whole person coaching. I'm loving the content that he puts up on the feed. You know, he's always wanted to be a spiritual, and he goes, I've always wanted to be a fucking spiritual samurai on my team, championing everything I do in my life. And now, after decades of training, practice, and work, he gets to do that for his customers. He instills confidence. He's all about self-empowerment. He's all about busting through glass ceilings. And he does it, Johnny, all while, you're going to love this. He does this all while slicing a human's limiting beliefs to pieces. He's like, oh, you have limits? I'm going to help you get rid of them. You don't need to have those limiting beliefs. And I love how you talk about it. We talk about it here on the show. And this guy is always talking with his customers about getting rid of those limiting beliefs, seeing and inviting his clients into their fullness and helping them, you know, self-initiate their unique greatness.
In most cases, we're basically, our limiting beliefs, they're learned behaviors from the people that around us, the people that taught us. I mean, it's pretty crazy, you know. I mean, you know, our parents and teachers and role models do the best they can, but if they don't know any better,
that's
true. Just think what happens.
It's very true. So when I want to invite you guys to think about this fellow, I want you to think about the Obi-Wan Kenobi to your hero's journey. Only you're the champion. So this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, joined by Jon Andersen and myself, we're going to take a second to celebrate this fellow, Jack Rosenkrantz. Yes, Jack, dude, I'm really loving the content you're putting out there. I love you're interacting with my content. You're very engaging, and I love what you stand for, man. Jack is all about helping humans become their happiest, healthiest, and wealthiest version of themselves. Johnny, his mission is simple. Help his customers live the life that they're meant to live, which is what we try to do here on the show, and Jack doing it with all of his clients, with what the world needs. It's what you're ready. He takes what you're good at and he amplifies it, right? And and he's all about removing those limiting beliefs that you absolutely have. And he's taken the last 20 years obsessed with studying, embodying exercise, wellness, and nutrition science. He's competed in triathlons. He's tried everything from raw vegan to raw carnivore. And he's 6.5 years alcohol free. That is awesome, Jack. And a lot longer free of other shitty for me behaviors. 15 years of crushing quotas in sales, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue sold, and 10 years of devoutly practicing and teaching yoga, and 7 years coaching leaders like you tuning into this right now. Jack, we're here to celebrate you, brother. And I'd love to have you on the show so you can bring somebody in your orbit, maybe somebody who you've coached, who you want to bring onto the lab to celebrate the creator spotlight. So today, on behalf of myself, Jon Andersen, and who joined us earlier today, AJ Zeglin, Adam House, R. Scott Edwards, Jack Rosenkrantz, we are celebrating you for today's Morning in the Lab Creator Spotlight. Nation, go check out Jack, man. Go check out his profile. He's got great content. He's very empowering, very positive, and a lot of fun in the feeds. Jack Rosenkrantz. All right, Johnny, we're wrapping up, man. What do you got on the agenda today, pal?
Today's going to be a high-powered day. Yesterday I was kind of surviving. Today I am thriving. I can tell. So are you going to get a lift in today? What do you got going on today, brother? Yeah, I'm going to actually got to handle a little bit of business, and then about 30 minutes, I'm going to crack open the gym and go to work. Nice. You and me both. All right, guys. Well, listen, on behalf of Jon Andersen, myself, Keith Bilous, see Marty who joined us earlier for obviously he's here every single day. Scott Edwards, AJ Zeglin, Adam House, producer Jimmy, producer Walter. We're Keith and Johnny. We're back tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, Mornings Live with Keith and Friends for great, unpredictable conversation, fun topics, fun reasons. Thanks for joining us this morning, Adam Peters, Adam from New Zealand, Ansar Ahmed, John Warner Laster. Come hang out with us tomorrow, guys, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And, of course, second hour, I got John Krasky joining me tomorrow later on in the show for a special edition at 11 o'clock Eastern time. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Johnny, let's get out of here. Get after it. We'll see you guys tomorrow.